Get ready with me while I tell you how I survived war, abuse, and starting my life over 3 times in 3 different countries. So I was born in Kiev, Ukraine, and I lived there till I was about 2 years old. My family then moved to Nigeria and we lived in a small town called Yenagoa, and it is located in Bayelsa State. So my mom is Ukrainian and my dad comes from Nigeria, and I did not grow up rich, so we actually lived in a really small house and we barely had any money for food. My mom did get a position as a lecturer at the university, and then we were able to afford some kind of life. My mom, being Ukrainian, she didn't want us to not be able to speak the Ukrainian language, so she taught us how to parallelly speak Ukrainian, and after a while I went to school both in Ukraine and in Nigeria. So to make it make sense, from January till July I would be in school in Nigeria, and then from September to December I would be in school in Ukraine. So growing up, I didn't really have a home because we were always moving around. So that means I have also switched schools multiple times. It was really hard for me because I did not really have any childhood friends because I would always go all over the place. And even till today, I don't really have like a childhood home because we lived in like thousands of houses. So in the Ukrainian curriculum, we also had Russian, and my mom is also fluent in Russian. Therefore, at that time, I was fluent in Ukrainian, English, and Russian. When I hit 7th grade, my mom decided that we should stay in Nigeria so that she could save enough money so that we can then permanently move to Ukraine because the school system in Ukraine was better. My mom and my dad had a very abusive relationship, and till today, I still haven't spoken with my dad since then. Mind you, I am right now in the 12th grade. We did live with my dad in Nigeria, but after some time we had to move out because my parents' relationship was just getting worse and worse each time. My mom suffered a lot mentally and physically, and it just brought up a really negative impact on me and my brother. By the way, I forgot to mention, I have 2 brothers, one younger and one older, but at that time my younger brother was not yet born, so I had an older brother and he is 4 years older than me. So I went to school in Nigeria till I was about in 8th grade, and the Nigerian school system is pretty harsh. If you don't have your homework done, they will pretty much beat you up. It was very strict. I wasn't allowed to have long hair, and I am mixed, so I have long curly hair, and I was not allowed to have that. I always had to have my hair braided or cut, like literally bald. They were a tad bit nice to me and my brother because we were half European. So after my mom and my dad cut off contact completely, she was able to save enough money for me and my brother to move to Ukraine. And as I prior said, my dad was pretty abusive to my mom. So anything that she earned, he would basically take away from her. But she was able to save enough money for the flight tickets and for a place to stay. Then in about 2018, we moved to Ukraine, and honestly, when I think about it, I never felt like there was something missing in my life because my mom always tried to make it possible, even though she knew that she couldn't afford many things, that she couldn't give us what we actually wanted. She always had a way to make up for it. And I am really grateful because I got to experience all these actually negative things in a very positive way. When we moved to Ukraine, I then went to one of the best schools in Kiev. Kiev is the capital city of Ukraine, and because I was in Nigeria for the past 3 years and I did not come back to school to Ukraine, it was really hard for me to speak the language, like the grammar correctly. I was fluent, but I was not perfect. School was really difficult for me. I did get bullied in school for being mixed, for being colored in Slavic countries. I don't know if it is popular, but when I was in middle school, I got severely bullied for being dark skinned. I one time got brought up water and they were like, here you go, water, because there's no water in Africa. But at some point, I just decided not to care, and that really built up my confidence, and at some point, I just was not bullied anymore and was seen as one of the cool girls. So my mom had to go back to Nigeria. In Nigeria, I had a really traumatic experience, which also was the final decision for us to move to Ukraine. I was let's not talk about that. My mom moved to Nigeria for work and she left us with our grandma. And mind you, before, when we would always come back to Ukraine for like school every half year, we would always live with our grandma. So my grandma technically also raised me and she was my second mom. But this time we lived with my grandmother for 3 years till 2022. And all this time my mom was in Nigeria, so I would only speak to her over the phone, and we kind of grew distant, but was not that like serious. My grandmother taught me everything. She taught me how to do my hair, she taught me how to make the bed, she taught me how to cook, how to do all these things, and I always felt complete because she taught me how to be who I am today. Sadly, in February of 2022, Ukraine was attacked by Russia, and Kiev was also attacked in the first days really severely. And my grandmother was pretty ill, so we could not take her with us. And me and my brother, after 2 weeks in Kiev, we fled to Germany. We fled through Poland. We had to take this long train, and a couple minutes after our train left, the train station got bombed. The fact that I'm alive right now, it's actually crazy because even what I went through in Nigeria, I made it. Even what I went through in Ukraine, I made it. And now I am in Germany and I'm still making it. We then landed in Poland for a day, and then we had to take a truck to Germany. In Germany, we were met with my foster family, and I am still living with them up to date. Honestly, super thankful for them because I don't know like where I would be if they did not take me in. I would probably be sleeping on the streets. They were very welcoming. They welcomed me with food and a place to stay, and very hospitable people. Here comes the actual sad part. In Ukraine, I was in my last year of high school, and in Ukraine you finish school with 17 because we only have 11 years of school. In Germany, however, in the previous years you had 12, but they changed the law and they made it 13. So I came to school and I thought, okay, I have 2 more years to go to school. It is obviously a little late, but it's not that bad. But then they told me that my German level is not high enough for me to continue school based on the curriculum that I should be in. So they told me that I have to go to middle school again. So I went back to 9th grade at my big age. And it is honestly very typical in Germany that people repeat the class and start again. But for me, like with the Slavic system in me, I felt really dishonored, all because I did not know the German language. Now I'm in the 12th grade, and that means I've been here for 3 school years, and I've been learning German ever since. I'm not fluent in German, but I do speak and understand the language enough to finish school and get my high school certificate. I did finish school in Ukraine, and I do have my high school certificate in Ukraine, but sadly it is not accepted in Germany because I am missing these 2 years of extra school that they have in their curriculum, which I think is honestly messed up because the Ukrainian school system, always the eastern side, has always been a little more advanced in my opinion. I don't know. Sadly, while I was living in Germany, I got the call that my grandmother passed away, and till today, I actually don't know how she passed away. Her autopsy came off clean. She did not have any reason to pass away, and it makes me really sad because she was my everything, and she's the reason I am who I am today, and it hurts. Despite the fact that my dad left, my mom left, my grandma died, I was physically abused, and the war, I never stopped loving and stopped hoping, never stopped believing in yourself, because no matter what, at the end of the day, you're the only person that you have with you, and that's honestly all that you need. At school, I don't like to wear mascara, so I'm just gonna curl up my lashes. I hope you guys had fun getting to know me.
Oops. I think I have a stalker. Let's get into it. So a few weeks ago, I had a man come to my house and he was sweaty. He seemed nervous. He said, "Hey, I'm your neighbor." He's not my neighbor. I just want to make sure you're okay. Are you okay? And I said, I'm okay. Are you okay? And he was like, I just want to make sure you're all right. Are you all right? And then he's like walking backwards as he's asking me this. And I'm like, do you need help? Like, are you okay? Then he came back again. He came back a few days later, I believe. And he knocked on my door. When I answered it, he kind of jumped a little bit. I feel like he wasn't expecting me to be home. And he said, I'm sorry, I have the wrong house. And he walked away very fast. And he left. And then I had somebody knock at my door like very early in the morning. It was like 7 o'clock because I remember looking at the time and somebody was knocking on my door at 7 a.m. on a Sunday. And I looked at my clock and I said, yeah, not answering that. So I just went back to sleep. Now, I don't know for sure if that was the same man or not. It could have been, it could not have been. I don't know. I didn't answer my door. Well, jump forward about like 2 days later. I come home and there are flowers left on my doorstep. It's nobody that I knew that left them there. I asked around. Nobody had gotten me flowers. And today, which is, March 20th? I went outside to let my dog out. My gate was wide open. And I'm like, oh, that's strange. And I went to go shut it. And then I realized my son's go-kart is gone. So somebody stole my son's go-kart. Cool. I just took that as an L because I was like, okay, somebody stole his freaking go-kart. That sucks. Nothing I can do about that, but like post on Facebook and ask around. Well, whenever I came back home, I was thinking like it's very strange how my gate was open because my gate is supposed to open like from like open inside, not outside. It was open outside, like somebody pushed it from the inside outside, if that makes sense. Well, I went to look in my yard to see if I could see anything weird, and I got to my kids' windows and their screens, my son's screen, my boy's screen was broken. My daughter's bedroom window, their screen was off completely, which means somebody was trying to break into their windows. What's really strange is every single time this man has shown up to my house, I don't happen to have my kids that day. So it's kind of like he knows my schedule because their dad and I do 50-50. There's certain days I have my kids, there's certain days I don't have my kids. He just happens to be here every time I don't have my kids. Now, I don't know if this is a good thing because if something does happen, I'll be happy that my kids aren't there. But it does make me feel uneasy because now you know my schedule. You know when I'm home, you know when I'm not home. This is weird. I'm a single mom with 4 kids. I don't like this at all. Let me just say, I don't know 100% if this is the same man that tried to break into my house. I don't. It could be a complete coincidence or it could be the same man. I'm just assuming that it's the same man because he's been here a few times. Now, I didn't call 911 because I didn't feel like it was like an immediate emergency because I found out hours later. I also didn't know that I could make a report without having like a name to give them any information. I do know what the guy looks like, but I don't have like a picture of him. I did get security cameras today, so I will be installing those. So I'll definitely keep you guys updated so that way we can kind of go through it together and kind of just see what's happening, see if we can catch him on camera. I'm hoping that we can at least catch him on camera so that way I can put the image of him out there because this is just weird to me. Like, I don't like the fact that I'm a single woman living by myself and I have kids and I just does not sit right with me. I feel violated. I'm angry. I'm more angry than anything. And if you've had a similar situation that's happened, anything to do with like a stalker, anything like that, please comment below what you guys did, how you went about it. I'm new to this. I don't know. I have no idea. But I've seen every true crime documentary. I know what happens. So if he does end up unaliving me, I hope he does it when my kids aren't here at least. Seems like that's how it's gonna go. And just know that I did not go down without a fight. I will have DNA in my fingernails, in my teeth, like everything. I will have the DNA. So y'all make sure you tell the police that. Okay, I've been getting this question quite a bit on why I haven't called the police. And let me kind of explain to you guys why I did not call the police. Because I did go to the police station to file a report. Everyone was like, file a report. You don't need evidence. You don't need evidence. Just go file the report. I was like, okay, cool. I go to the police station. They honestly made me feel dumb. They made me feel so stupid because they were like, well, why didn't you call 911? And I explained to them that I didn't realize this happened until hours after it happened. I thought 911 was for an emergency. This is not an immediate emergency. It's not like the man was there in action doing it. Obviously, if I'm physically seeing this man trying to get into my windows, I would be calling 911. And second, they didn't give me any information on what the police can do for me whenever they get to my house, because I didn't know that they could dust for fingerprints. I didn't know that until a friend of mine who used to be a police officer told me after I posted on my Snapchat and was like, not the police station telling me to call 911. I thought they were 911. And she was like, girl, they can come dust for fingerprints. Yeah, didn't know that either. Thanks to her, I know that, but not thanks to the police station. And to be quite frank, the police where I'm at have never been help for me personally. So don't really trust it all anyway. Just another update, I did put cameras up, so I got them installed last night. I have one camera in the front and I have one camera in the back, so those are up. I'm not going to post them just because I don't want people seeing what my house looks like. That's weird. I'm going through this shit. I'm not going to also put too much information out there just because I was told that if my stalker has me on social media, he's probably seeing all of my updates. So I don't want to put too much out there anyway. I am keeping track of everything right now. So I have all the pictures that I have. I have the dates that he's been to my house. So I have all that information. And if anything does happen again, I will be calling 911. And so far, nothing has happened since last night, since I put the cameras up. I do hope that he does come back, honestly, because I would love to get his face so that way I can at least post him and so other people can see what he looks like, because so far I'm the only one that has seen what he's looked like. He's only been to my house when my kids are not there, so my kids don't even know what he looks like. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the update for today.
One of the most interesting things about my family is that my cousins are married to each other, okay? And they have a kid together. Story time. Okay, so about 14 years ago, my cousins were not close at all, okay? But one of my male cousins, let's call him Charlie, entered med school, okay? He started his med school and he was in the depth of it, passed his first year. And then a few years later, my female cousin, let's call her Harriet. So Harriet started med school as well. And so Harriet called Charlie to just get advice on some med school stuff. And they ended up chatting and so on and so forth. So the following summer, when we all reunited at my summer house, and like a little bit of context, all my cousins and myself, we all grew up like very close. We would spend all of our summers together at the summer house because all of our aunts and uncles had houses in the same neighborhood, so we would just spend weeks there together. So that one summer after that famous phone call, both Charlie and Harriet were there. Now, Charlie and Harriet had not ever been that close before, okay? But that summer they got very, very close. And as weird as it sounds, they ended up developing feelings for one another. And like one of the most shocking parts of this story is that they didn't actually tell us that they had developed feelings for each other. One night we just caught them kissing. Fast forward 10 years, they've had this crazy love story, have broken up, have gotten back together since, and they are now married with a child and another baby on the way. Now you might be thinking, why are you being so like smiley and jokey about your cousins like being married? That's extremely wrong. Well, it turns out one of my cousins is on my dad's side and the other is on my mom's side. But what I love to throw out is like, oh yeah, my cousins are married to each other. And people's reaction, priceless.
Story time on how I lost my baby daddy of 4 years and my best friend of 3 years within 24 hours. By the way, this literally happened 3 days ago. But anyways, my baby daddy, we share a car. It's my car, but I let him use it for work and everything because he doesn't have one. Anyways, he was going out with his coworkers And this is about like the 4th time he's gone out. Every single time he goes out till like 6 or 7 a.m. Anyways, he stays out like literally that late, doesn't text me the entire time, does not care, and then comes back in the morning and tries to apologize and stuff, but like, what the fuck. Anyway, this time my mom was watching our son for the night because she had him while I was at work and she wanted to keep him for the rest of the night. Cool, you can keep him for the rest of the night. I'll just come pick him up in the morning. So I was like, how about we do something for the night? Because, you know, we don't really get alone time without our son. We can do something together. Because he wanted to go to the bar. I'm 20. I cannot go to a bar. So I was like, why don't we just do something together? And you can hang out with your coworkers another way. No. He wanted to go with his coworkers. Okay, he went with his coworkers. Anyway, I am texting his phone. And I'm not, like, blowing up his phone. I didn't text him until, like, 3 a.m., okay? He went out at midnight. Bars close at 2 in North Carolina, okay? They have to close by 2. So he's still not responding, still not texting me back. Texting me at 4. I say, if you're not back home by 5 a.m., you're never using my fucking car again. Other than for our son or going to and from work. And then 5:30 comes. He is still not home. So I texted him, I said, if you are not back by 7 a.m., we're done. Point blank, that's it. And he does not have service on his phone. So he can't text me back if he doesn't have service, so I couldn't see his location either. But he was at one of his coworkers' house. He could have connected to their Wi-Fi and texted me back if he really wanted to. But he didn't. He was out for 7 hours from midnight to 7 a.m. Anyway, next morning, I'm not talking. I'm giving him a silent treatment. I get in the car because we have to both go to work. I get in the passenger seat because I'm the only person that rides in the passenger seat. He drives. I'm passenger princess, whatever. My seat is reclined all the way back. I'm like, I literally fall back in the seat. I was like, what the? Because I'm the only one that sits there, so it shouldn't be reclined back. So I pull it back up, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, okay. And I just had a feeling. I just had an itch, you know? So the next day, I go on his phone, and I'm looking through Instagram messages because he asked his coworkers if we could go to a restaurant instead of a bar so I could come. And I saw the girl he texted to ask. Didn't think of any of it then, but then I saw the conversation was deleted. Why would you delete the conversation just because you're asking if I can come with y'all if y'all can go to a restaurant instead? So that was weird. So what did I do? Looked up how can you retrieve Instagram deleted messages. And then what did I do? I went onto his Instagram, downloaded all his Instagram data to my phone so I could see deleted messages, current messages, all of it. And then he went to go get food, takeout, which, by the way, he wanted to go to his job to get takeout. I told him I don't like their food, so I'm good. I got something else. But he wanted to go to his job. He said, well, if it's just going to be me getting food there, then I'm just going to sit and dine in. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Just get takeout and come back home. He said, no, it'll be cheaper. I'll just sit and dine in. I was like, okay, that's weird as fuck, but all right. So while he's gone, I'm going through the Instagram messages. And I see this girl was in my fucking car. Not only that, he was texting her, telling her how he felt unhappy in the relationship, how we were rocky and wasn't, I'll admit, we were rocky. I mean, we have a kid and we're new parents. It was a little rocky. But he's telling her all this and telling her how last time they hung out, he wanted to kiss her so bad and he couldn't get to. And so that night, he kissed her. And then let her ride in my car, my all pink interior car. Yeah. And let's not forget, this girl knows about me, okay? Because literally 3 days before this happened, I came into his job because it was Halloween night and came to pick him up with our son in his Halloween costume. They're like, oh my gosh, hey. And this girl had the audacity to come up to me and be like, oh my gosh, you're so pretty, girl. Like, your body's snatched. Oh my gosh, you're gorgeous. Wow, you've been messing with my man for 2 weeks. Cool. Well, not my man anymore. You can have him, Sid. You can have him, Sid the Sloth. I really don't care. Anyway, I find out. I tell him, come straight home. And he comes home. And I'm like, so, I saw all your Instagram messages. I downloaded them all to my phone. Saw all deleted ones, new ones, anything that's on there. I saw it all. I said, do you have anything to say? He just got quiet. Just sat there quiet. Yeah, anyways. So after he sat there quiet and I told him, speak up, say something, because I'm about to kick you out the house. He was like, I was like, bruh, come on. So I asked him how long it's been happening. He said 2 weeks. And I told him, you don't need to lie to me because I've already read all the messages. So just be honest at this point. He told me he only kissed her once and it was just a kiss. I don't fucking believe that shit. Why was my seat all the way back and reclined if it was just a kiss? Cool. I'm not gonna believe that. I really don't care. Anyway, he's pretty much saying that he did it because he just didn't know what to do. Like he was unhappy, blah blah, blahzy buzzy. I was like, okay, cool. So what I do, I call his sister. I say, hey, your brother just cheated on me. Come pick him up. He's out of my house. And I went to go pack up his shit. And I said, hey, do you want to help me pack up your stuff so you can go? And he didn't say nothing, not a word. He just sat there in silence on the couch. So I took it upon myself to pack up everything for him and put it all on the couch next to him, waiting for his sister to get there. And don't get me wrong, I was crying this entire time. I was definitely crying and bawling my eyes, which we will get to that part next. And so his sister comes, picks him up. I asked my best friend to come over because I just got cheated on with a dude I've been for 4 years and have a kid with. So, I need some comforting. So she comes over, her boyfriend, cool, I'm friends with him too, whatever. She comes over and I think she's comforting me. I think she is, at least. And I'm crying, but then I stop crying because I've been crying for the past 2 hours. I'm out of tears. And it's gotten to a point where I'm almost feeling manic and I'm calm. I'm calm. Like I'm crazy calm. Like a type of calm where it's like, this bitch is about to go insane. That type of calm. There's a part 2. I'm gonna post it, guys. Just give me a little bit, please, because I posted the video last night and I didn't notice it went viral till like 30 minutes ago when I opened TikTok. And I have a few errands to run. I have to go to the gym. That's literally why I'm dressed like this. But I need to edit the video first because I'm going to cut out any parts that say my ex-friend's name in it. I do not want anybody like trying to find her page and send hate comments or cyberbullying, because this is a situation that happened 5 months ago and I don't believe that she deserves to be cyberbullied for it. I just want to tell like my story and what I went through and what happened to me. Even though this was a big situation that affected me, I've moved past it. I'm not going to hold a grudge or anything. What you do with my baby daddy, I don't care. Y'all can do whatever. But her, if y'all comment her name or at her or anything, I will be deleting that comment because I do not want y'all to find her page and try to send hate. She was a great friend for 3 long years, amazing friend until this situation. So I will try to answer all y'all's comments. I'm trying to go through all of them, I promise. It's just there's like almost 1,000 comments and that's a lot to go through. But give me some time. I'll probably just do a video answering any comments that y'all put down because some of them are not in my part 2 video that I filmed 5 months ago. Story time on how I lost my baby daddy of 4 years and my best friend of 3 years within 24 hours. And her boyfriend's like, Izzy, you can't be having guys over now. Don't be having guys over, dating guys. I'm gonna be standing outside this door. Make sure you're not having guys over. Because her friend, or her boyfriend, is friends with my boyfriend. So I was like, I have a kid. I literally have a 1-year-old. I'm not gonna go off and just dating guys. I'm not that type of person. Maybe if I was still 16, and didn't have any worries in the world, but I'm 20 with a kid. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be bringing random dudes around my son. I have him to worry about and me. That's all for now. And I said that to him. I said that to him and her. She was sitting right next to me, so she heard. Anyways, she goes to my boyfriend, and her boyfriend goes to my boyfriend and calls him, I guess, the next day and talks to him. And she calls me the day after. So not even 24 hours after I found out I had gotten cheated on the night before. She calls me and it's like, Izzy, I see you like a sister and I really want to be honest with you. And she tells me, I don't want you to get mad, but I just need to tell you the truth and be straight up with you, A big reason he cheated and stuff is because you weren't pleasing your man. She goes on for 10 minutes. 10 minutes telling me how I needed to at least suck his dick or be sexy for him or do a little dance for him or something. She's like, even my mom has told me I need to do that for my husband. Guess what? No ring. He's not my husband. Second of all, I'm working 2 jobs, taking care of a child, and trying to get back into school because I had to stop going to school in the summer because I was too stressed out with taking care of a kid and 2 jobs and paying all the fucking bills by myself. So why would I want to have sex with this man? Why would I want to have sex with this bum? Anyways, I was like, okay. I kind of just tuned her out because I was getting pissed to fuck off at that point. She talks about this for 10 minutes. The crazy thing is, this girl is Muslim, okay? This girl's Muslim. She goes on and on about how, yeah, I keep telling my boyfriend, like, I don't want to have sex till we're married. I don't want to have sex till we're married. Like, I don't want that. Like, but you're telling me I need to have sex with my man to keep him? But you stopped having sex with your man and it's fine? It's fine? Oh, okay. Anyways, she goes on to tell me, and Izzy, when we were at your house last night, we were talking about don't bring any of the guys or don't date any guys. Now, you were like, and you didn't deny it. You didn't deny it. Bitch, I fucking denied it right to your fucking face. Are you stupid? Are you slow? Maybe you are, because you can't even fucking spell. Anyways, I hang up on her right there. I literally denied it right there and said I wasn't going to be messing with anybody because I have a son to worry about and don't want to worry about a man, okay? Hold on, I gotta make a part 2. Okay, part 3 is ready, but I have not posted it. It is edited, and the only reason I haven't is because I specifically asked for nobody to go to this girl's page and drag her or try to hate her or cyberbully her in any way, because I think that's just wrong. I don't agree with cyberbullying at all. I don't like it. I've moved past this time in my life. That is why that it's 5 months ago and I'm posting the videos now, because I feel like I can. I didn't make these videos or this story time for y'all to go and bash somebody or to get y'all to attack somebody. That was not my thing to do it at all. I posted a story time so I could talk about something big that happened in my life that I finally moved past, and something that took a lot for me to get over and fix my mental health over and everything. I don't want y'all sending hate. Please, I am begging y'all, stop sending hate to her page. I keep deleting comments, anybody that's commenting her name or anything. It's not okay. It's not okay. End of day. She did this. We have moved past it. We have both talked about it even. But I'm posting the story time now because I want to. I want to post my story time. I want to talk about what I talk about. And I want to talk about what happened to me. But that doesn't mean that I want y'all to go and bash somebody like every fucking video they have posted. It has gotten to the point where her friends, her boyfriend's family have been reaching out to me because of this. And I really don't want to have to deal with any more drama. That shit's dead and gone. I just want to be able to post my story times, you know, yap to my little camera and talk about what I talk about without y'all, you know, doing all that. And I appreciate so much all like love and support that everybody's giving me for going through this and stuff like that. And just keep doing that. Just keep sending love and support. We don't need to like go and hate on people. We can just keep being nice and respectful to everyone. Part 2 of how I lost my baby daddy of 4 years and my best friend of 3 years within 24 hours. Anyway, so I respond to her. I'm like, girl, I literally denied it straight to your face. When you were here, you were right next to me. I don't know if you're deaf, but I literally said verbatim, I'm not going to be messing with anybody or any dudes. I have a son to worry about and me to worry about. I don't want to be bringing random guys around my kid, okay? Okay? Cool. And then I'm like, girl, I'm going to hang up on you because you're pissing me the fuck off right now. Yeah. So I hang up on her. She texts me at 2 a.m. in the morning, which is like 4 hours later or something. I don't know. And she's like, Izzy, I really didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I don't want you to think that I think you're all at fault. I'm just trying to be honest with you and tell you, you know, as your sister, as your best friend. What? Girl, what? Anyways. So I don't respond to her till like 7 p.m. I'm like, because I talked to my baby daddy that day. We had like a 2-hour long conversation, and he tells me that, she was over here telling him that it was giving crocodile tears, that I wasn't really crying because I got cheated on. I wasn't really upset. No, I wasn't. That crying for 3 hours wasn't real. And that I was being too calm and too relaxed. It seems like I had moved on already, and that I didn't deny that I was going to be with another guy soon. Crazy. So what did I do? I texted her. I said, honestly, it's crazy that you want to say it's giving crocodile tears and I seem too calm and relaxed just because I wasn't crying the entire fucking time. But okay, cool. This bitch can't even fucking respond to me. She has her boyfriend text me on her phone saying, Izzy, I don't want you to take this out on her name. It's really me and Michael. You know, we're the ones that were talking. I just asked her for her opinion and to bring it in and everything. And I replied, honestly, I don't want anything to do with all 3 of you anymore. All 3 of y'all could go to fucking hell. And he writes me this whole long paragraph like, okay, Izzy, if that's how you want to be, blah, 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 like, wish you the best, may God bless you. Bitch, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. And you know what? This is still her boyfriend texting me. She never fucking texted me back, okay? And she shows up at my house. My house. 2 hours later, unannounced. You couldn't text me back on your own phone. Really text me at all. Or tell me you were coming to, but you just show up at my house and knock on the door. Hey, it's me. What? Why are you here? So my mom is at my house, so she goes to the door to unlock it. I'm like, hold on, ask who it is. And that's when she says that it's her. And I'm like, no, do not unlock the door. Don't unlock that door. Keep it locked. Come back in, Mom. Don't unlock that door. And literally, I guess she hears me say it. She calls my mom, because she has my mom's number as my mom's sitting right there. And she's like, yeah, I really just wanted to come talk to Izzy because I'm really sad about our situation. And, you know, I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. And I love you. And I love Apollo, which is my son. And blah, blah, blah. And just know that I'm not going to forget what she said about don't come open the door. Don't let her in. Yeah, I hope you don't, bitch. I really hope you don't. Because I don't fucking like you. And I don't want you around me, my kid, quite frankly, at all. At all. Now, I do work with this girl, so I'm going to have to work with you, which I don't really care. I can be professional at work. So guys, that was all of it. Everybody keeps saying post the rest of the story, part 4, guys. That was all I recorded, because that was 5 months ago. And that was all that happened at the time. There has been a lot more that has happened that I would be gladly to tell y'all about, but I will have to film another video and post it. So if y'all want that, let me know. I'll give the people what they want. Story time of how I lost my baby daddy of 4 years and my best friend of 3 years within 24 hours, part 4. All right, so a couple days later, we are back at work, we're working together, and we are completely ignoring each other. I mean, we're trying not even to stand in the same area, like by the POS, because we're both servers, all that. We're trying to completely be away from each other, not interact, nothing. Eventually, after a few days of working together, we have to, you know, start talking, saying words together, because we work together. Servers, you have to talk to each other. You just have to. And we eventually do kind of have a conversation about it and become cordial, and we're cordial. We're cordial at work. Everything's fine. Now, my baby daddy. Let's get back to that. So I kicked my baby daddy out the day that I found out he cheated on me. Within like 30 minutes, an hour maybe. But you know what the best part is? We had to renew our lease literally a couple of days before all this happened. So the day before I caught him cheating and kicked him out and everything, we renewed our lease for 2 years. Yes, 2 years. Yes, I'm so happy. Anyways, both of our names are on the lease, okay? It's not just my name. I'm primary, but he's also on it. After like a month of him being out the house, stuff like that, you know, I'm getting used to being a single mom. I'm doing great. I feel like I'm finally, you know, in my routine, got it all done. He gets kicked out by his grandma. So what does he do? He tells me that he is moving back in the house and there's nothing I can do about it because his name is on the lease. And I tried my best, guys, to, you know, be like, oh, no, you're not moving in. This is my house now. You're not moving in. But legally, I cannot do anything. So what happens? A month after being broken up, he moves right back in. And don't get me wrong, this man's sleeping on the couch. He's not coming back in my bed. No, I will tell you that. I will say, I, to this day, am still single. I have not gotten back together with this man. I promise you. Now, there was one slip up one night, like a couple weeks after we broke up. And that was it. That was it. There has been completely nothing after that. Now let's get to the good part. So about a week after he moves back in, I have a friend come over, an old friend from high school that is a guy. And my son is staying the night with my mom because she asked to keep him overnight. Cool, whatever. I have this guy friend over. We are drinking, you know, having a good time. Get pretty drunk, I would say. And he's gonna spend the night in my bedroom because my baby daddy has a friend over, his coworker, and they're both sleeping on both the couches in the living room. So he's staying in my room, blah, blah. Well, you know, people drink, stuff happens, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, keep in mind, me and my baby daddy have been broken up for over a month now. Not only that, he is now dating the girl that he cheated on me with. And they are like pretty much in a relationship at this point. They are exclusive, only with each other, blah, blah, blah. Tell me why this man is starting to get heated and mad that this man is sleeping in my room. We're not together. Last I checked, we are not together because you cheated. And you are still with that girl you cheated with. Anyways, he starts coming and banging on the door because I locked my door because he kept trying to come in there. He starts coming in there and banging on it, banging on my door. So I open it, blah, blah. He's like, oh, he's not sleeping in here. He's not sleeping in here. Bitch, this is not your room. I'm not your woman anymore. I'm not your woman, your bitch, whatever. I'm not that. So you're not saying who's sleeping in here, who's not. I'm sorry, honey, but no. You gave that up over a month ago. Anyways, thank goodness his coworkers was there. His coworker pretty much dragged him out, was like, yo, chill out. You need to take a chill pill. Well, let's just say he was also a little drunk and he did not take a chill pill. He didn't. No, he didn't. I would say maybe about like 20-30 minutes later, I don't know the exact time of everything because I was also drunk, my door starts to get beat on a lot harder this time, and it's locked. And eventually, guess what? This man beats my door completely down off the hinges. All right, I'm gonna give y'all a little step-by-step tutorial on how to download deleted Instagram messages. So all you're gonna do, go to your profile, okay? See those 3 little lines at the top? You're gonna click that. All right. Go to your account center. You'll see it at the top. You see where it says your information and permissions with a little stamp thing next to it? Click on that. Now it's going to tell you can export your data at the top. You're going to export it. When you get to that screen, you're going to have to export your stuff, and it's going to take a while. I think for me, it took about 20 minutes for all of the data to get exported. You need the person's password for this. If you do not have their password, you are not going to be able to do this. Okay, once you do all this, you're going to download the file once it's all exported. You download the file. You have the option to do like all-time messages or just recently ones. You can do all their Instagram data, so you can see all the reels they've liked. You can see literally everything they've done on Instagram, but it gives you options to do it. I just downloaded Instagram messages because that's all I really cared about. And I downloaded it, and then you can open it up in your files once you download it, put it somewhere you can find it, and there you go, babies. Okay, all right, I love y'all. Story time. Don't mind my gray hairs and my snow in my hair. Okay, I don't know how to start this out. All right, so once upon a time there was me. I am a very nice person. Oh my gosh, these are irritating me. Oh my gosh. Okay, whatever. So I'm a very nice person. I'm a very nice family member, I guess you could say. Hold on. Okay, I need to like fix my hair or whatever. But I let my mom, who is not my mom anymore. Hold on. Okay. Anyways, so I let my mom, who's not my mom anymore, come move in with me because she wanted to basically spend more time with my kids, which is understandable. Okay, grandma trying to do better, whatever. So I let her come live with me. Mind you, at the time my boyfriend's moving down from Florida to California to come live with me as well. But that's besides the point. But he gets brought into this situation anyways. Anyways, a couple days go past or whatever. Maybe like 2 weeks, maybe less than that. I don't know, maybe I'm over exaggerating. 2 weeks. It's probably less than that. She is like making like little comments like about my baby daddy is like asking her to like go have a drink with him, whatever. I'm like, just ignore him. Like, me and my baby daddy are like not on good terms. We co-parent, but at that time it was just like a whatever thing. He found out I had a spicy account and he like flipped out over it. But yeah, so she said that, and then she would say like how he would make like little remarks about like what she's wearing, or be like, oh, what are you wearing, let me see. And she would like show him, like, bitch, why would you show him, you're weird. Anyways, then so the two weeks went on or whatever, and she was acting weird. So I picked my kids up from school and they come home, and then I asked them if they wanted to go to the grocery store with me so I could find something to make dinner. My son wanted to stay home. She was drunk. She's an alcoholic too. Forgot to put that in there. She's an alcoholic, and she does anything for alcohol. Like, literally, when I say anything. And she'll like steal it too. Like, she doesn't even give a fuck. And she's not like a cutesy alcoholic. She's a drunk bitch. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like not a good alcoholic. She's angry. Yeah, it's just not a good look. And she's old, so like it's not a good look, period. So yeah, she's acting weird, and my son wants to stay home, so me, my boyfriend, and my daughter went to the grocery store. And before we went, she's like, why don't you take him? But she's drunk, and I'm like, no, he could stay here. Like, he wants to stay here with you and my brother. Like, just let him stay. He doesn't want to go. My son's a very homebody, so he stayed. And I come back from the grocery store. She's nowhere to be found. And I'm sitting here watching the football game with my boyfriend. I'm like, where is she? And I forgot I had her location, so I was like, oh, okay, let me go see where she's at. I go see where she's at. She's literally like right across the street from me. I have a gym like right across the street from my house. She's literally in the parking lot of the gym. I'm like, what is she doing? She would usually go like at the liquor store, like, or the gas station across the street from my house too, and like drink or whatever. So I'm like, what is she doing? And I told my boyfriend, I was like, I'm gonna go see what she's doing, because I just have like a bad feeling. And he was like, what if she like went to go meet up with your baby daddy for that drink? And I was like, yeah, but in the parking lot is weird. Okay, so I was like, I'll be right back. So I went, and sure enough, she's in the car with my baby daddy. He has blackout tints all around, and I pull up next to them, and I mean, obviously it's obvious what they were doing. So he skirts off. I was literally sitting there like in disbelief that even happened, because me and him were not on good terms, and like, that's my mom. Like, hello? You're weird. So they were doing what you guys think they were doing. A little bit of boom boom pow pow. I come back home and I text her. I said, I don't really remember what I said, but I told her that she can get her stuff and go at his house since she wants to be with him. And that's just like disrespectful. Like, what the fuck? And she just doesn't acknowledge it or whatever. I call her and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why would you do that? And she's drunk, so obviously she doesn't comprehend what I'm telling her. She's like, I don't fucking know what you're talking about. What the fuck are you talking about? I was not with him. Like, bitch, he's not by my house for no reason, and you did not, like, your location pinpointed in that exact spot, and how did I just, hello? Like, you're dumb. I'm not dumb. You're dumb. All the drugs have fucked up your head. So yeah, whatever that happened, she tries to come back in the house a couple hours later, and she has my key. I gave her a key to my house. She has my key, so I took it from her, and I was like, since you're drunk, this is your last night staying here. You need to get your shit and you need to get out of my house. And she was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And she just goes to my kid's room, whatever. And the next day she just acts like nothing ever happened. So then I just started having like like little like what is it called, arguments with her every single day. And then she would be like talking shit about me, about my boyfriend, about my brother, whatever, and then about my kids. So it came to a point where I ended up just kicking her out. She left or whatever. But before I did that, I went through her phone and found everything, like her telling my baby daddy who's at my house, her I'm trying to think, her meeting up with my baby daddy, and then him asking for spicy stuff from her, and she sent him the spicy stuff. And yeah, so at that point I finally had it, and she had to go, and she's gone, and now I am momless. So any mommies out there that want to adopt me, that'd be greatly appreciated. But yeah, okay, story time over. Story time. Don't mind my gray hairs and my snow in my hair. Okay, I don't know how to start this out. All right, so once upon a time there was me. I am a very nice person. Oh my gosh, these are irritating me. Oh my gosh. Okay, whatever. So I'm a very nice person. I'm a very nice family member, I guess you could say. Hold on. Okay, I need to like fix my hair or whatever. But I let my mom, who is not my mom anymore. Hold on. Okay. Anyways, so I let my mom, who's not my mom anymore, come move in with me because she wanted to basically spend more time with my kids, which is understandable. Okay, grandma trying to do better, whatever. So I let her come live with me. Mind you, at the time my boyfriend's moving down from Florida to California to come live with me as well. But that's besides the point. But he gets brought into this situation anyways. Anyways, a couple days go past or whatever. Maybe like 2 weeks, maybe less than that. I don't know, maybe I'm over exaggerating. 2 weeks, it's probably less than that. She is like making like little comments like about my baby daddy is like asking her to like go have a drink with him, whatever. I'm like, just ignore him. Like, me and my baby daddy are like not on good terms. We co-parent, but at that time it was just like a whatever thing. He found out I had a spicy account and he like flipped out over it. But yeah, so she said that, and then she would say like how he would make like little remarks about like what she's wearing, or be like, oh, what are you wearing, let me see. And she would like show him, like, bitch, why would you show him, you're weird. Anyways, then so the two weeks went on or whatever, and she was acting weird. So I picked my kids up from school and they come home, and then I asked them if they wanted to go to the grocery store with me so I could find something to make dinner. My son wanted to stay home. She was drunk. She's an alcoholic too. Forgot to put that in there. She's an alcoholic, and she does anything for alcohol. Like, literally, when I say anything. And she'll like steal it too. Like, she doesn't even give a fuck. And she's not like a cutesy alcoholic. She's a drunk bitch. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like not a good alcoholic. She's angry. Yeah, it's just not a good look. And she's old, so like it's not a good look, period. So yeah, she's acting weird, and my son wants to stay home, so me, my boyfriend, and my daughter went to the grocery store. And before we went, she's like, why don't you take him? But she's drunk, and I'm like, no, he can stay here. Like, he wants to stay here with you and my brother. Like, just let him stay. He doesn't want to go. My son's a very homebody, so he stayed. And I come back from the grocery store. She's nowhere to be found. And I'm sitting here watching the football game with my boyfriend. I'm like, where is she? And I forgot I had her location, so I was like, oh, okay, let me go see where she's at. I go see where she's at. She's literally like right across the street from me. I have a gym like right across the street from my house. She's literally in the parking lot of the gym. I'm like, what is she doing? She would usually go like at the liquor store, like, or the gas station across the street from my house too, and like drink or whatever. So I'm like, what is she doing? And I told my boyfriend, I was like, I'm gonna go see what she's doing, because I just have like a bad feeling. And he was like, what if she like went to go meet up with your baby daddy for that drink? And I was like, yeah, but in the parking lot is weird. Okay, so I was like, I'll be right back. So I went, and sure enough, she's in the car with my baby daddy. He has blackout tints all around, and I pull up next to them, and I mean, obviously it's obvious what they were doing. So he skirts off. I was literally sitting there like in disbelief that even happened, because me and him were not on good terms, and like, that's my mom. Like, hello? You're weird. So they were doing what you guys think they were doing. A little bit of boom, boom, pow, pow. I come back home and I text her. I said, I don't really remember what I said, but I told her that she can get her stuff and go at his house since she wants to be with him. And that's just like disrespectful. Like, what the fuck? And she just doesn't acknowledge it or whatever. I call her and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why would you do that? And she's drunk, so obviously she doesn't comprehend what I'm telling her. She's like, I don't fucking know what you're talking about. What the fuck are you talking about? I was not with him. Like, bitch, he's not by my house for no reason, and you did not, like, your location pinpointed in that exact spot, and how did I just, hello? Like, you're dumb. I'm not dumb. You're dumb. All the drugs have fucked up your head. So yeah, whatever, that happened. She tries to come back in the house a couple hours later, and she has my key. I gave her a key to my house. She has my key, so I took it from her, and I was like, since you're drunk, this is your last night staying here. You need to get your shit and you need to get out of my house. And she was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And she just goes to my kid's room, whatever. And the next day she just acts like nothing ever happened. So then I just started having like little what is it called, arguments with her every single day. And then she'd be like talking shit about me, about my boyfriend, about my brother, whatever, and then about my kids. So it came to a point where I ended up just kicking her out. She left or whatever. But before I did that, I went through her phone and found everything, like her telling my baby daddy who's at my house, her I'm trying to think, her meeting up with my baby daddy, and then him asking for spicy stuff from her, and she sent him the spicy stuff. And yeah, so at that point I finally had it, and she had to go, and she's gone, and now I am momless. So any mommies out there that want to adopt me, that'd be greatly appreciated. But yeah, okay, story time over.
I'm cutting off my situationship. So there's this guy that I met a few months after my breakup. We actually met in San Diego, which is crazy because neither him and I were from there. He lives in the San Francisco Bay Area. And honestly, after I met him, like, I thought I was never going to see him again. But he actually, like, got my number, and then he started hitting me up. And like a month or two after we met, he had planned to come here to LA, and we hung out. And it actually went really well. He's a lot of fun. He likes to go out, and we went out together and we had a blast. So after that, we kind of were like going back and forth, seeing each other. I would plan a trip over there, he would plan a trip over here, etc. And that lasted for about a whole year. And I was okay with what we were at first because I didn't want to be in a serious relationship. Like, I knew that I wasn't ready. but it was also a lot of fun and there was no pressure. I was okay with it. Like I knew what it was and that was fine with me. But about at the halfway year mark, I think I really started to like him. Every time we would see each other, obviously it felt very relationship-y. I started thinking like this could lead to somewhere. This could be my next relationship potentially, because I really got to like him. It had been a while too that I had stopped like seeing other guys like going on dates and stuff, because honestly like I just got over it, and it wasn't worth it for me. Like I was like, you know, if I want entertainment, like he can give it to me, so what's the point dealing with guys that I'm meeting that aren't worth my time? But then I went over there in December to see him, and honestly like he did something that let me down. Like he disappointed me, and I let it be. I left, and I don't know, I think like that was my moment of being like, oh, like I don't think this is like the person for me. But I think I like to learn my lessons the hard way. So I still was talking to him, and it's crazy because even after that, I went like on another trip after to El Salvador for a few weeks, and when I came back, like he was hitting me up, but he was being very different. Like he was being really mean, and he had never been like that before, which was weird because it's like you messed up and then now you're acting like this. Like I didn't understand, and I got to a point where I even like was so upset that I stopped responding, because I'm just like I didn't understand why he was being the way he was being. So I stopped responding for a few weeks. He ended up reaching out and apologizing, and I ended up telling him how I felt. Like, hey, you know, like it's messed up that you're acting like this, because the last time I saw you, you did what you did, and that was really messed up too. And even the fact that like that time that I saw him, that he disappointed me, another thing that happened was that my flight, like something was happening with my flight and it got delayed. I ended up spending like a whole day at the airport, and I could have just canceled the trip. Like I could have just been like, you know what, I'm gonna just go home like after my flight got canceled, but I didn't. I booked another one, and I was at the airport all day waiting for it. And then whatever, I get over there, and I remember thinking like, oh, how nice it would be if like him knowing that I've been at the airport all day and that I'm jumping all of these hoops to come see him, that he can like pick me up and like, I don't know, maybe with some flowers or like with food, with something, you know, like to be like, oh, like thank you for still making it over here, for you know, going through all of that to like come and see me, you know what I mean? I don't know, but of course that didn't happen. So when I told him how I felt, I told him all of that. I was like, you know what, like you didn't do anything to make up for what you did. One, two, like you couldn't even have, knowing that I had already gone through so much to get over there, like not only did you did what you did, but you also like didn't even greet me with flowers or anything. Or even after what you didn't even apologize like with, I don't know, a gesture, you know? And it was just kind of like, oh, I'm sorry. And that was it. Maybe that was my cue to end it there. And, you know, he even told me, he's like, you know, please forgive me, but if you don't, I understand. Like I said earlier, I love to learn my lessons the hard way. And I don't think it's that. I think it's more like I have to be sure that I tried everything before I'm like, all right, that's it, I'm done. So I told him I forgave him, and he ended up planning to come out to see me, and I hung out with him, and it didn't feel the same. And I think that as much as I wanted to forgive him and move on for what, like after what happened, I don't think I could. And now here we are, where I am ready to finally let go. But when he was here, he actually forgot something of his, which I'm like, damn, because he was like, oh, just hold on to it. Like, I'll get it next time I see you. Which I'm like, damn, I wasn't planning on seeing him after, like, I was gonna, you know? But it's okay. It's funny actually because today is his birthday. And obviously I'm not gonna break it off with him on his birthday. So I've been waiting for today to pass. I'm gonna send him a happy birthday. And then after that, I'm gonna ask him if he wants me to like ship his thing that I have, and or maybe drop it off at his friend's. He has a friend that lives here in LA. And then after, I'm gonna let him know. I'm going to be like, hey, I thought that I could get over what happened, but I don't think I can. And I'm gonna thank him for everything, because at the end, like, he did teach me a lot of things throughout this dating journey. Like, I think he taught me that a guy can put effort into someone, because when we would see each other, it would take a lot of planning because we live so far away. So he taught me that. He also taught me how to have fun with someone. Like, I guess I didn't know that I could have fun with a partner before him. And yeah, he taught me a lot and I appreciate it. But that's it, you know. At the end, I don't think he wanted anything serious anyway, because it had been a year and no talk of anything. So I think that's another reason too, you know, like, what am I doing wasting my time, especially when I have other people that are interested in something serious with me. So yeah, that's it. I have to go.
I'm going to tell you about my bad date that I went on because I'm bored and I think it's really funny. So last night, I go on a first date, first one I've been on in a little while, and he picks the place. I meet him there. One of the first things he asks me is what I do for a living, and I tell him where I work. I was like, we actually a really popular place. You've probably seen our billboards. They're all along the interstate. And he says, I don't like stuff like that. I'm not into that kind of stuff, so I wouldn't have noticed anyways. Okay, you could have just said you didn't see it, but all right. Then he asks me, what are some good places to eat here? And I was like, well, New Orleans is like known for being like a big food city. So I was like, really depends on what you like. I was like, what are some of your favorite foods? And he was like, I don't have any favorite foods. I was like, okay, what is your comfort food? I was like, what's your go-to food when you just kind of want something to comfort you? And he was like, I don't find food comforting. And I was like, what do you mean you don't find food comforting? That's like a basic human instinct. And he was like, I think food is supposed to just like nourish my body, but I don't find any comfort in it. I was like, okay. I was like, I love food, so I don't know what this guy's talking about. But anyways, so then at one point I tell him I have a dog, and he's like, you're not gonna like what I have to say about that. And I was like, fuck, what is it? He says, animals shouldn't be pets because when you make an animal your pet, they don't have any choice in the matter, and you're taking their freedom away because they don't have a choice. And I was like, are you saying my dog is a slave? And he was just like, obviously I'm so ready to go by this point, but this is literally only like 15 minutes into the date. Like I'm trying to stay an adequate amount of time to like not be rude, because apparently he plays music, he's really into music, and he tells me he really likes metal music. And I was like, that's really cool. I was like, I like a bunch of different types of music. And the place that we were at, the place he picked, was playing some really good disco music over the speaker, like a couple of songs I really liked. And when I told him that, he laughs at me. He laughed at me. And it wasn't like a laugh like, oh, that's cute or anything nice. He was laughing at me, like in a condescending way. He was like, you like this stuff? And I was like, yeah. I was like, how can you not listen to like this song and not be in a good mood? Like, it just makes you like want to move your body and dance. And he was like, I don't dance. And I was like, okay. He was like, at most I might tap my foot. I'm sorry, hold on. He was like, at most I might tap my foot. I was like, okay, I'm getting a very clear picture of this guy right now. I'm like, we take ourselves very, very seriously. Very serious, very, very serious. We take ourselves very seriously. Okay. He asks me next what I like about my job. And I was like, I love my job because I really like making people feel good, making them happy. And I like making people feel good about themselves. And he goes, yeah, I don't really care about people like that. I don't really like care about, like, I don't know, making people happy or anything like that. I was like, what a fucking weird thing to say. Like, even if you do think that, who says that shit out loud? Who says that? I don't know if I've already said this. He's new here. He's only lived here like 2 months, I think. And so he's asking me about like cool things to check out around the city. And so I'm telling him, I'm like, and I say, oh, you know, since you're new here, you should check out this neighborhood if you haven't already, or you should check out this place. And he stops me, and he's clearly like upset. And he's like, you keep saying that I'm new here. I'm not new here. I've been here since January. Okay, first of all, why are we hostile? Why? It's not anything you need to be upset about. It's not an insult. You asked me these questions, bro. And I mean, also, you've been here 2.5 months. You're new to the city, okay? But whatever. I clearly wasn't going to press the issue. And then, like, near the end of the date, before I like jet out of there, he admits to me, because like when he was asking me, about like if I had a preference for like where we met up, I was like, no, I'm totally open. He was like, okay, I'll pick the place then. This was like before we met up, and I was like, that's cool. He was like, yeah, I gotta admit, he was like, I actually live right next door in the apartment building right next door. He said, I decided to be a little selfish because you said you were open to meeting me wherever. And he was like, I really just didn't feel like moving my car. Okay. So I think I'm not gonna see him again. Yeah, and so I mean, I don't think he'll see this, but in case he does, that was a really weirdo experience, my guy. Work on some things. I just got out of my ballet class and I'm super sweaty, so ignore that. But everyone keeps commenting, didn't you vet this guy before the date, or didn't you try to talk to him before the date? Of course I did. I didn't just meet up with a total stranger. We texted, and he honestly seemed nice when we were texting, and he was complimentary. I don't know what happened. We got onto the date, and he suddenly wanted to arm wrestle me verbally. I don't know. I don't have the answers. Y'all have been cracking me up all day with some of these comments. Truly, I did not expect that many people to see the video. And what's funny is I actually left a good bit of stuff out of that video. Like, I didn't even talk about everything, if you can believe it. Like, for instance, at one point, he told me that his favorite book was Blood Meridian. And I said, oh, by Cormac McCarthy. And he went, you know that book? And I said, yeah. And he said, nobody knows that book. And I said, well, I did study English Lit and Journalism, and I graduated at the top of my class. So yeah, I'm aware of one of America's most famous and prolific writers. It was just the pretentiousness. It was the faux pretentiousness of it. Ugh.
So I'm going to share a story with y'all to let y'all know how real the spiritual realm is out here in this world. Because, trust me, it's a lot going on that people can't even see and don't understand and don't know what's going on. But I'm going to share with y'all how real it is. So this story is definitely pertaining to those that are out here just having random sex, casual sex with people, one night stands, just sex for fun, getting drunk, all that, and just, you feel me, having sex. Y'all need to be careful. Seriously. So, not too long ago, you feel me, I was dating somebody, been dating this person for like 6 years, and we're not together no more, but we were dating for a long time. We have 2 children together, and basically there was voodoo that was put on our relationship by his mother and his ex. And So it was, I don't even know like what kind of voodoo it was, but when I tell y'all it was strong, it was strong. Okay. Not stronger than God's word, because God is very powerful. And I'm healed now, and I could talk about my story. But voodoo was put in our relationship. Okay. So we ended up breaking up, and he left. He literally left for like a week, gone. I haven't heard from him. No phone calls, no text messages, no nothing. Just straight gone. Left me with 2 little girls, right? Okay. So a week goes by. Of course, I'm worried. I don't know what's going on. So finally, after a week, he contacts me. Okay. So he contacts me on social media at that, which to me, I'm like, okay, why are you contacting me on social media? That's really weird. You feel me? But okay, whatever. At this point, I just want to know what's going on, because when he left and like literally, like I say, just went completely ghost, no contact, gone. So, okay. So of course I want to know what's going on. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, yo, what's up? Like, I want you to come through. We need to talk. Like, you feel me? And so he's like, okay, I'm gonna come through. But the whole entire time, all he's talking about is basically like sex, 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 sex. Of course, lustful spirit. Okay. So me, at the time, during that week that we went through our break or whatever, that he was gone, God was waking me up. God was talking to me, and he was letting me know things, right? And one of the things that God said to me was, do not have sex. And I was telling my homegirl about it, right? And she's like, well, why would God say that to you? You feel me? She's like, that makes no sense. Why would God just sit here and tell you that, you know, don't have sex? She's like, no, girl, God wouldn't say that to you. But of course, when God tell you something, listen. When God tell y'all something, y'all better listen, because he is not playing, okay? So, of course, me being disobedient, just like a kid, right? I don't listen, right? So, he comes through or whatever, right? And what's crazy is, we had talked, like, basically, like, that night or whatever. And so the next day, he was planning on coming over. So now, let me tell you how powerful and real God is, right? So, the next morning, I wake up, and I'm not telling nobody that he's coming through or anything like that. You feel me? Because when he left, it was devastating the way that he left and everything. So, I'm definitely not telling nobody. I don't want to tell my family, my friends, nobody. I don't want nobody thinking that I'm, you know, oh, you dumb, you letting him come back, this, and that. So I kept quiet, right? So I wake up, and that morning, my mom sends me a text message, and she says, God told me to tell you that he loves you no matter what, and that he knows your true heart, and that he knows that you're going to mess up, but he still loves you. I already knew that my mama knew he was coming over. Right then and there, I knew. She already knew what it was, but she was letting me know that God knows my true heart. And you feel me? God already knew that I was going to fall for the trap. And he just let me know, like, I still love you and I'm still here for you. You feel me? Because God does not want to lose me as one of his children, right? So, okay. So basically, my ex comes over or whatever, and, you know, completely acts like nothing happened. Like, literally, he act like it was normal. Like he woke up with me. You feel me? So he's like, you know, he's looking at me. Oh, well, why do you look like that? Why do I look like this? What do you mean, why do I look like this? You feel me? Like, I'm just looking at him like, God, like, what is going on? You feel me? Because I'm heartbroken. I'm sad. And you feel me? I've been completely crying for like a whole week straight, trying to figure out what's going on. You feel me? So he come over there looking all clean, nice cut, everything fresh, like nothing. Anyway, so he's like, look, you need to get yourself together. I don't like seeing you like this. He's like, you know, why don't you take a shower? I'm going to feed the girls. You feel me? I'm going to clean up. He's like, you know, and then we're going to talk or whatever. He was like, I'm going to spend some time with the girls. When I put him to sleep, we're going to talk. So I'm like, okay, cool. You feel me? I am in complete awe at this point, because I'm like, is this dude really just acting like nothing happened? Like, we just normal? But I'm like, okay, whatever. You feel me? So anyways, girls are asleep at this point. And so now we're talking, right? And I'm pretty much letting him know, like, yo, your mama and your ex put voodoo on us. You feel me? And I'm letting him know what's going on. So he's sitting on my bed, he laughing. You feel me? He laughing. Oh, that's funny. So he laughing and he like, well, that's funny because my mama said that you put voodoo on me. And he's like, well, I don't even know who to believe. But he was like, I don't even care. I'm not going to pay no attention to none of it. And I'm literally sitting here like, oh my goodness, how the enemy works. You feel me? How the enemy works. Always trying to turn things around to make you look crazy. But in reality, I know what's going on. I already know. God been talking to me. God been letting me know. So, okay, whatever. So I'm not going to lie, y'all. You feel me? I've been with this person for 6 years. Like, I missed him for a whole entire week. Like, I ain't even going to lie. I fell short. You feel me? Flesh won. So, of course, I want to have sex. You feel me? I do. So, we go in the bathroom or whatever, you feel me? And we turn off all the lights or whatever. Mind you, it's like maybe 2, 3 in the morning now. And so, you know, we go in the bathroom, whatever, lights off. We put a towel on the door or whatever, you feel me? So the girls couldn't hear us or anything like that, right? So, when I say pitch black dark, it is pitch black dark completely, right? So, okay, you feel me? We start doing what it do. And we facing the mirror, you feel me? We like where the sink is at. So basically, like, I'm in front, he in the back, we facing the mirror. Y'all already know I don't gotta say much. So what's crazy is I've been having sex with this man for the past 6 years, right? But this one particular night, when I tell y'all, it was so different. It was like incredible. I ain't even gonna lie. It was amazing. Like, I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I don't even know if it's the fact that I missed him or the fact that I needed some. Like, I don't know. But it was like off the hook. So, in the back of my mind, I'm still, you know, thinking like, God told me don't have sex, don't have sex. So I just feel like a failure at this point because I'm like, you feel me? God told me don't do it. But I'm like, God, you know my true heart. Like, you know, I really love this person. Like, this is my man. Like, who else am I going to get it from? Like, I'm not just about to sit here and go have sex with somebody else. So you feel me? Like, all this is going on in my head. But at the same time, it's like, oh my God, like, this is amazing. So anyways, y'all. So out of nowhere, right? He starts asking me, how does it feel? So you feel me? Of course. I'm like, it feel good? Man, listen. When I tell y'all, I look up, literally, it's dark, you feel me? I just put my head up, you feel me? It's not like I was trying to look nowhere or anything like that, but I just happened to look up all of a sudden. When I look up, y'all, I swear to y'all, this man looked like he had on a glow-in-the-dark mask. The ones that the laugh now, cry later mask or whatever. Literally, he had, it looked like it was the smile, like from literally ear to ear, but it was a demon. It was a demon, literally a demon that was having sex with me, literally asking me, how does it feel? When I tell y'all, I knew right then and there why God told me, do not have sex. Because God was trying to warn me, because God knew there was a demon operating in this man. And he knew what was going on. But of course, me being hard-headed, I still decided to do what I do. And that's what happened. I literally look in the mirror and I am getting hit from the back by a demon. Straight up demon. And the crazy part was that in that instant, it felt so good that I just couldn't even stop. That was the most sickening part for me. Literally the most sickening part. And he just got a smile from ear to ear, looking demonic as ever. Literally asking me, how does it feel? Do y'all know how I felt? How sick I felt afterwards? I literally prayed and I asked God to please forgive me. And when I tell y'all I will never again disobey God, whatever God asked me to do is exactly what I'm going to do, because he literally was being a father and trying to protect me from seeing that. But I'm sharing this story with y'all so that y'all can understand how real the spiritual realm is. So when y'all out here thinking that y'all having sex with this fine person, y'all don't even know what's really behind that person because you can't see. So not everything that look good is good. I'm telling y'all, That's real. When people say not everything that looks good is good, it's for a reason. And the whole entire time, I'm thinking, I'm over here having sex with my baby daddy. It's not even my baby daddy. It's a demon that's operating inside of him that was literally getting off on me. The most sickening, demonic thing that I ever experienced in my life. And I just want to thank God that he literally like gave me a second chance, because I was disobedient. But he let me know that morning through my mother, he let me know that he forgave me. He knew that I was going to fall short of temptation, and he still let me know, I still forgive you. But I promise y'all, I learned my lesson. So I'm really literally asking y'all that's out there, please, if y'all are not married, do not have sex, because y'all don't know what y'all are getting yourselves into when y'all just having sex with random people. Y'all don't know the demons that's operating in these people. And y'all just out here randomly just doing it just for fun. And these demons is the one that's really behind these people that's really having sex with y'all. So y'all need to be careful.
When I was 15, I was in a relationship with a pedophile. It feels really strange to call him what he is now as a 24-year-old woman, because being a 15-year-old girl, I didn't realize that that's what he was. He had many different ages that he would tell people. I was told by him he was 29. Later on I heard 31, a whole range of ages, and I don't believe that anybody knows what his age was for sure at the time. But to my knowledge, he was 29 and I was 15. His name is Craig McIntosh, and he was the owner of Pet World, which was a pet store on Ferry Road. I met Craig when I went into the pet store, and eventually I became his son's babysitter. For his son's privacy, I'll be calling him Billy. Billy was 3 when I met him, and I was at high school, my final year of high school. He mentioned that he needed a babysitter. I got a job as Billy's babysitter. Everything seemed normal the first few times that I would babysit Billy, and then one time that I was asked to stay overnight looking after Billy. Things were normal. I had put Billy to bed, and that's when Craig came home. I was confused because I thought I was there to babysit Billy for the night. Craig came and sat down next to me on the couch and said that his plans had changed, but that I could just stay the night and I could sleep in the bed and he would sleep on the couch. I agreed because it was really late and I didn't want to walk home. That's crazy. This would have been 9 years ago now, and I've had so much therapy, talked about this with many people, and even still my heart gets, I feel it's hard to breathe. So he had said that he would sleep on the couch and I would sleep in the bed, and I agreed. So I went to bed, and a very short time later, Craig got into the bed with me and got on top of me, and I knew what was gonna happen, and I froze. And that was the first time that Craig raped me. The relationship, just obviously, maybe not obviously, when you're under the age of 16 in New Zealand, you cannot consent. Your consent, even if you give consent, it is not valid when you're having sex with an adult, regardless of anything. That is rape. Even though in this instance I didn't even give consent anyway. And so it's not a relationship either. If you're a child and you're being groomed by an adult, it's not a consensual relationship. So I'm referring to it as a relationship because that is what I believed it was at the time, but just for clarity and factual information, it was not a relationship by any means. So that was the first night that happened, and from that point we were in a relationship. That morning when we woke up, he told me that now that I had had sex with somebody and I was no longer a virgin, I was ruined, used, that no one would want me ever again because I've been used by another man. It referred to my body as being like trash now, and as a 15-year-old girl that was previously sexually abused in childhood, I believed these things. I mean, it was this adult telling me these things and I believed it. Said, you're stuck with me now and this is as good as you're gonna get because nobody's gonna want you ever again. This relationship went on for at least a year. It was a relationship full of domestic violence, drugs, gang affiliation, and in the middle of it, Billy, a 3-year-old. I am choosing to speak about this abuse openly for the first time because I have been sharing what I've experienced in my life and I hadn't been ready yet to speak about this, but I think that I am now. Since everything, Craig McIntosh, he is in Scotland. He fled when his business went under, when people started chasing him up for the money that he owed, and when I had gone to the police. He's in Scotland right now and the police cannot extradite him from there. His name is flagged. If he ever tries to re-enter New Zealand, there's a flag on his name. So with him on the other side of the world and him not able to come back to New Zealand, I feel that I can safely speak about what he had put me through. There was unfortunately a young girl before me and there was unfortunately a young girl after me. I know the girl before me extremely well. She's one of my best friends, and I did have a young girl reach out to me afterwards because of everything I was going through. I forgot her name, so I'm hoping to reconnect with her. This is part 2 of me talking about being in a relationship with a pedophile at 15 years old. This is the second part, so if you want to go watch the first part so that this video makes sense, it probably won't otherwise. So I spoke about how I came to meet Craig and the fact that there was a girl before me who's one of my best friends now, and there was a girl after me that I've lost contact with, and I am hoping through these videos that I can get back in contact with her again. So I spoke about how I met Craig and the first time that he had raped me, and that was the beginning of the relationship. When I first met Craig, he worked at the pet store, and at some stage pretty early on he purchased the pet store from the previous owners. This is where a lot of other issues with other people in terms of owing money and not paying bills, etc. began. It was my understanding that he owned the pet store, he was renting the house that he lived in, he had a black Ford Territory, and I assumed he had his license because he was driving his 3-year-old son around. It turned out that the car wasn't his. He didn't have a license at all. And the entire relationship, he was using some kind of very hard drug. My understanding is that it was crack. Cannot confirm. Craig's behaviour was erratic, violent, had a very short fuse. He was mentally and emotionally abusive and physically abusive and sexually abusive. There were many instances where I was beaten. There was one instance where I had tried to leave the relationship and he locked me in his bedroom and didn't let me out for 2 days. And that was without food, water, a bathroom. People had come looking for me, and those entire 2 days I was on the floor screaming, crying, and he only let me out when I said that I wasn't going to leave. There were other instances as well when I had tried to leave and he would use Billy as a way to keep me there. I remember I tried to leave one day and I said, I'm leaving, I'm not coming back. And so he called Billy, the 3-year-old, out of his room and said, look, Billy, Alex is leaving you. She's not coming back. She doesn't love you. She doesn't care about you. And little Billy is looking at me and he starts crying and he's going, Alex, are you leaving? And saying, don't leave. And Craig directed Billy to go over to me and he said, say goodbye. You're never going to see her again. And this broke me many times. There were many times that I stayed for that reason. There was another instance where I had tried to leave and I made the mistake of saying that I was going to leave while we were in the car together and he was driving. I'd said that I was going to leave, that I couldn't do it anymore, and we were driving down the street, and at the end of this road was this, it's like a council building, and it's made of those concrete blocks. And when I said that I was going to leave, he tried to crash the car into this concrete building to kill both of us. He turned the steering wheel and put his foot flat down on the accelerator going towards the building, and I undid my seatbelt and went to open the door to jump out before we hit the building, and he grabbed a handful of my hair to pull me back into the car. Thankfully he slammed on the brakes before we hit the building. I remember after that had happened, he started crying, and even though he had tried to just kill both of us, I ended up comforting him. And I know that that won't make sense to a lot of people that haven't been in an extremely abusive relationship, but the level of emotional abuse, manipulation, you're not in your right mind. And I was also a child. For my 16th birthday, Craig bought me a Pomeranian crossed with a Chihuahua. It was this little dog, because at this point I was working in the pet store. Not getting paid, but working. And
he said that I could bring this dog into work, and this dog was super cute. I loved him from the second that Craig had brought him home. I named him Benji, and unfortunately Benji didn't even get 24 hours before I had done something that upset Craig, and he slammed Benji into the wall. Benji then started having seizures. His mouth would fill with foam, his eyes would roll to the back of his head, and Craig told me that it was my fault. Craig then took Benji away and told me that he was going to get him put down, but I don't actually want to think about what he probably did to this poor dog. And again, I forgave him for that. Going through all of these instances of the times that I tried to leave and what happened, I feel like everybody can learn from. Maybe you have a friend that's in an abusive relationship, a colleague, family member, and part of you just thinks, why don't you just leave? And hopefully my situation can shed some light on why people don't just leave. For me, I was a child that had come from a background of domestic violence. I'd come from a background with sexual abuse. I was extremely emotionally manipulated. I was having a child used against me. There are so many reasons why women don't leave, and hopefully now maybe people will understand why. This is part 3 of talking about being in a relationship with a pedophile at 15. There are 2 other parts previously that you might want to watch so that this video makes sense. Although if you've seen the other 2 parts, you'd know I'm not talking about anything in any particular order. It's all just very sporadic what comes to my mind. When I talk about my past and the things that have happened, it's really difficult to get it in order, this period of my life and what I went through. As much therapy as I've had and as much as I've talked about it privately, anytime I talk about it, really it just comes out in bits and I'm just kind of going with it. So in the first video I talked about how I came to be in the situation and the relationship. The second part I touched on the abuse and the times that I had tried to leave. And just at the end of the video, I said kind of how women often get into these situations in relationships. People want them to leave and they don't understand. And it is just so much more complex than just leave. At the time that this relationship was happening, my home life was extremely bad. My entire childhood really had been terrible, filled with domestic violence. That was normal my entire childhood. I didn't realize that other children weren't beaten all the time. I did not realize that. Police were always being called to my house throughout my childhood. At this point, our house was freezing. We couldn't afford to turn heating on to keep the power bill down. There wasn't much food ever in the house. Again, we couldn't really afford that. The house that we lived in was extremely old. There was black mold everywhere. I had ended up with pneumonia because of the dampness and the black mold in the house. I would have to bleach my walls to kill it all the time. So this was what my home life looked like.
very unstable, unsafe. It was terrible. When I would babysit Billy, I got to be in a warm house. It was clean. There was food in the cupboard and in the fridge. It was quiet when it was just me and Billy. So babysitting Billy in the beginning was an escape. And even when the abuse had started from Craig and the relationship began, even though Craig was abusing me, I was also being abused at home. So it was kind of like both situations are horrible, but one situation, there's a warm house and there's food available. It seemed like the lesser of two bad situations. And I think that's also how I came to be in this situation for so long, because I was used to being beaten. Then when Craig would beat me, it wouldn't really be a thing. I had been sexually abused as a child. Then Craig raping me, it wasn't foreign completely. Yelling and screaming, I was used to that. I grew up with that. And so when you come from poverty, domestic violence, all of those things, when you enter into a abusive relationship, it's not that different. Whereas if I was a child that came from a normal house, maybe with a mum and dad, and there's no domestic violence, and heating the house and having food is never a problem, maybe then, I don't know. I only know my experience. My experience was this abusive relationship was pretty similar to my abusive childhood. So I was in that situation for a very long time. So I mentioned I was in my final year of high school when I was in this relationship. And I was working in the pet store and I was looking after Billy. There were things, many things that had happened, but one of the things is that Craig didn't always let me go to school, and the reason for that was because he didn't want me to be around the boys at my school. I went to Hagley Community College here in Christchurch. We used to wear mufti. I think they still do. I remember one instance where Craig was taking me to school and I put on a white t-shirt dress. Very common for that time. T-shirt dresses were everyone was wearing them. I remember getting in the car and Craig started driving, and then he grabbed the back of my head and slammed it into the dashboard. And I was in shock, first of all, in pain. My head was killing me. He started screaming at me because I was wearing this t-shirt dress to school, and that meant that I was wanting the boys in my class. I wanted their attention. He said that it was see-through and that I looked like a hooker. He should just drop me off on the street to start working. He told me more horrible names. I was a whore, that no one liked me. They just looked at me as like a prostitute or someone that they could have sex with, and all these absolutely disgusting things. I was bawling my eyes out. I was in pain, and he dropped me off to school. So the days he wouldn't let me go were sometimes better. I remember my two best friends, Anna and Leighton, they were extremely worried about me. They expressed their disapproval, their concern, and I know that they tried really hard to get me to see that the situation wasn't okay. But when someone is in an abusive relationship like that, it's almost impossible to get them out. So to Leighton and Anna, I'm so sorry, and there's really nothing you could have done to help me. This is part 4 of me talking about being in a relationship with a pedophile when I was 15. Obviously, I'm using the word relationship very loosely because when a child is in a relationship with an adult, it's not a relationship. The child has been groomed. I'm using the term relationship because in my 15-year-old brain, that's what I thought it was. I didn't realize that this man was in fact a pedophile and that I had been groomed. As for the drug use kind of situation and the money issues associated with being a drug user, I had no idea that Craig was using heavy drugs every single day. I had no idea. I was a kid and I just didn't think to look for anything. Being an adult and looking back now, there were times where he would disappear for hours on end and no one would know where he was. Now I know that during those periods of time he was using drugs. He became associated with that's where he was getting the drugs from. And obviously drugs are incredibly expensive. I remember one day he told me that he thought he had been paying his rent for the last however long, but it turns out he hadn't, and he said if I don't get $4,000 by the end of today and pay it to my landlord, me and Billy are going to be homeless. And so again, you can see Craig using Billy to manipulate me and pull on my heartstrings because I loved Billy so much. There was no way I was going to let him be homeless, and Craig knew that. So I'd been waiting tables since I was 14, and so I'd saved up a decent amount of money for a 15, 16-year-old. I said to Craig, I was like, oh my gosh, I have $4,000. You can have it and pay your rent, and then you can just pay me back whenever. That is who I am. I care so much about the people in my life. I would do, if there's anything I can do to help somebody in my life, I will do it. And again, this is another thing that was taken advantage of. Craig didn't want me to transfer the money to him. He wanted to go and get it out in cash. Obviously, this is another red flag. As an adult, you don't pay your landlord in cash, but I did not know that. We got the money out in cash and I never saw that money again. And that was kind of the beginning of him owing me a lot of money. He had debts to everybody. Even after he had fled to Scotland, I was getting phone calls of people asking me where Craig was and saying he owes me this much money. And I was like, yeah, he owes me this much. You're never going to see it again. And then came the debt with the pet store. So I know now when you have a business, money comes in from the stock that you sell, but you have rent to pay, you have power to pay, you have suppliers to pay, you have staff to pay. The way that Craig worked, he would order all of the stock from suppliers, wouldn't pay them, so he would just max out all of the accounts, getting stock, sell the stock, and then just keep the money. He wasn't paying tax. There were a lot of times he didn't pay the staff. He wasn't replacing things. He was getting animals from backyard breeders. He was getting cats that had been found in the street, dogs that had been surrendered. All of the animals were incredibly sick. When staff, me and some other people working in the store would treat them or want to take them to the vet, he would get angry because there was a waste of money. This went on for a very surprising amount of time until obviously he hasn't paid the bills in so long that the building was repossessed and Pet World was no longer. He couldn't pay for anything because he had used all of the money on drugs. Before he lost the store, he lost his rental. He had told me that he'd lost the rental and that him and Billy were living in the pet store. Craig was bathing in the sink, bathing Billy in the sink. He was sleeping on the floor of the pet store and Billy was sleeping in a dog bed. It was at that point that I'd really got snapped out of it, because I saw Craig for what he was, a severe drug user that had lost his house, that was about to lose his business, and that was now neglecting his child. Billy's mum was still in the picture the whole time. It was at this point that I reached out to her on Facebook and asked if we could meet. I waited until Billy had gone back into her care to meet her, and she agreed to meet me at a cafe, and I told her not to give Billy back, and I told her everything. And from that day forward, she has had full custody of Billy.
You guys love each other, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. That will go away. You cannot trust anybody ever.
This is part 5 of me talking about being in a relationship with a pedophile when I was 15. There are many other parts. This probably won't make any sense without those other parts. In the last video I was talking about the beginning of the end, Billy being removed from Craig's care. The conditions were that he had to pass a drug test in order to see Billy, and he never even took a drug test, and then he had fled to Scotland and hasn't been in contact with Billy since, which I don't think is a bad thing. As for Billy and I loved him with my whole heart, and he loved me as well, because we were kind of surviving this person together. So Billy was 3 when I met him, and he had turned 4 while this whole thing was happening. To me, he was young enough that if I stayed away from him, let him forget, that would be what is best for him. I didn't want to stay in his life and be this reminder of what he had been through as well. I thought if Craig disappeared and if I disappeared, hopefully he won't remember anything. And that was extremely difficult to do, but I knew that he was in a better place and that it was in his best interest to just move on. And that got easier as the years went on. I still think about him now, 9 years later, but I know that he's doing okay. And that's what matters to me. When I was working at the pet store, there was another girl around the same age as me. I didn't know why at the time, but she was always very protective of me. She was always trying to get me away from Craig. This girl, she had worked at the pet store since she was 14, and I didn't find out until very recently actually. She's one of my best friends. Me, her, and one of the other staff members from Pet World, we all called and just talked about how messed up that was, because it's really only the 3 of us that can understand what it was like. And I think the story sounds very far-fetched. When you talk about it to other people, they're kind of like, what? Like, surely this can't be real. So it was an opportunity years later for the 3 of us to just talk about it, I suppose. It was the first time that this girl, woman now, said that she was protective of me because she knew what Craig would have been doing to me, because he had done that to her when she was 14. She came to work at the pet store at 14. He had groomed her and they had been in a relationship. And this grown man is obviously attracted to 14, 15-year-old girls. That makes him a pedophile. There were a lot of emotions that came up when she shared this with me. I did ask her why she didn't tell me. She said that she was embarrassed. And I said to her, you know, it's not your fault, right? You were a child. And to this day, it is still so embarrassing for her that that happened. That stopped her from telling me. It kind of just reinforces why I'm sharing everything that has happened to me, because it's not embarrassing, it's not shameful, it's not my fault. I'm hoping if I keep speaking about what has happened to me shamelessly, loudly, other women will feel like they don't need to be embarrassed or ashamed either. There had been this girl before me, there had been me, and then after me. This was maybe a year later. I was sitting in a cafe up in the North Island and I got this message from a girl on Facebook saying, "Hey, do you know Craig McIntosh? I've heard so much about you." Well, she knew what he had done to me. She said that he had done the same thing to her. He had befriended her mother, that he had raped her, and that the first time was in his Ford territory, which is something I was familiar with. I had been raped many times in his car. We spoke for some time and then I lost access to that Facebook page and I was never able to get it back. My brain has blocked a lot out from my life. Unfortunately, I can't remember her name, as this was probably 5-6 years ago, and so I am really hoping that she sees this video, she gets in contact with me, because I would love to talk. I would love to reconnect. The last that I heard from Craig was after I had left. He smashed my windscreen and cut all 4 of my tires. And so I went to make a police report about that. That was years and years and years ago. Ended up making the police report and sharing some of what Craig had done. And I didn't know at the time, but this other girl that was hurt by Craig, she had also gone to the police. So they tried to go after him and he fled to Scotland. And that's why he is now flagged. So hopefully I will never ever see his face ever again.
Yes, this is very true, as long as the Heimlich is done afterwards.
So basically, story time on how my mom, like, I didn't think she could speak English because my entire life I would literally translate for her, but it turns out she knew every word I was saying. So basically the backstory is, like, there was this time I was supposed to go to McDonald's with one of my friends, but last minute her mom was like, no, you can't go, da-da-da. Anyways, I'm used to it, whatever. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna walk to McDonald's by myself. It was like a skip away. This was middle school, right? So basically, as I'm walking to McDonald's, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get like half of the menu, don't even play, right? Mind you, I only have like $7 like with me in coins, bro. So as I'm walking into McDonald's, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get this and that and this and that and that. And when it was time to pay, I realized I bit off a little bit more than I could chew, and I was so sad and stressed. I was like, yeah, you can take off the large fries, take away the milkshake, keep the nuggets, but make it like a 4-pack, right? And then there were these 3 girls behind me. One went to the bathroom, right? But the other 2 were like, oh wait, like, do you need help paying, we'll pay for you. And I was like, oh my gosh, really? Like, will you really do that? There's a lot on this menu, girl. And they were like, yeah, like, we'll pay for you, no problem. So they paid for me, right? And I'm thinking that was that, you know, it was a good deed. Angels were on my side. Allah had my back, right? No, those girls were like, oh, do you want to just eat with us since you're alone already? And they looked like my age range, and I've seen them before, so I was like, okay, yeah, I bet, like, it doesn't even matter, like, don't play. So, you know, we're all eating, whatever. I'm devouring my meal like I pay for it, I promise you. As we're eating, the other girl comes back and she's like, oh, we should all get to know each other, right? Honestly, my parents always told me about stranger danger, whatever, all of that, and I firmly believed it. But the thing is, I didn't care because they were all girls and they were just nice or whatever. So I was like, oh, there's, like, what's the worst that could happen, right? So, you know, we're chopping it up, and then push comes to shove or whatever. They literally asked for my phone number, and then I'm like, okay, but I'll give it to you guys. And then I learned, like, what school they went to, what grades they were in, and I was like, oh my gosh, new buddies, don't play. Like, back then, making friends, it was not easy. Like, So boom, basically, you know, I go home, we're all saying bye to each other. I learned where they lived, and then that night I was just texting, and my mom was like, Noodle, kapata cell phone, like, what are you doing on your phone? Why are you so attached to it? And I was like, oh, I was just looking at a video, you know, Norris Nuts updated, don't play. But basically, yeah, like the night comes and they're telling me about plans, they're telling me about like things they want to do, yada yada. So that's basically the backstory, right? So boom, one day they texted me and they're like, oh, can you like meet us at like McDonald's? It'll be really quick, like we just have something to tell you, right? And I had nothing better to do, so I was like, okay, bet, like let me go get ready. I didn't even tell my mom or anything. I just started getting ready. Like, girl, this is not how it works. So boom, you know, I'm getting ready. I'm like, okay, bet, you know, let me grab a coat. I know it's raining outside. It's a little cold, whatever. So as I'm getting ready to go, my mom's like, hold on, and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go see so and so. And they were like, she was like, you're not gonna go, sit down. And I'm like, mommy, no, like I need to go. This is important. And she's like, how important can it be? It's literally raining. I don't know these people. I don't know where you're going. Yada yada yada. And I was like, no, I'm going to so and so's house, knowing very well I wasn't like at all. And she was like, okay, let me take you and take your little sister too. And I was like, girl, first of all, if you come, no. And second of all, I can't take my little sister. She's about to ruin these plans. I know what they're about to tell me. It's like confidential, right? So she's like, it's okay. It's either you take your little sister or you're gonna stay home. And I just know she can't keep up with me. The way I pedal, I'm gonna be zooming, right? And it's literally raining, so I don't even want her there. So I'm like, okay, with Damietta. And she's like, okay, good, with Damietta. Boom, I'm texting in the group chat, right? And I'm like, OMG, my mom won't let me go. And they're like, it's okay, we can just FaceTime. And I'm like, oh my gosh, bro, like, do they think I'm slow? Like, I'm literally at home with literally everybody. And I know you guys are messy, so no, we can't FaceTime. So boom, I was like, oh, like, do you guys want to text? And they were like, no, let's just FaceTime. It's okay. It's gonna be really quick, right? So I was like, no, like I can't do it, guys. Like, you guys don't understand. And they're like, what's the worst that can happen? And then I was like, oh wait, FaceTime me tomorrow, because I know my daddy's gonna be at work, so we're gonna have a little bit more free time. So boom, the next day comes, they're FaceTiming me, and the only person that's awake at the time is my mom, right? So we're all like in the living room, like it's me, my phone, and then my mom. And then basically they're like, okay, Noodle, like, are you ready? This is what we want to say. And I'm like, yeah, spill it, right? Mind you, my mom's next to me the entire time, but I didn't know she could speak English. I didn't know, because literally growing up, whenever I spoke English, she'd be like, so boom, basically they were like, yeah, we just want to tell you that there's gonna be a fight soon, Anyways, I heard fight. I was like, oh, what's a tea? Like, what do you mean fight, you know? Like, it was so So basically they were like, yeah, the person that we're gonna fight, it was basically that one girl that went to the bathroom that one time. I thought she was cool. Honestly, I didn't even see a problem with her. But they were like, yeah, she's annoying them. And basically they just needed a cameraman, whatever, to film while they were hugging. Anyways, as long as I'm not in the fight, right? So boom, they were like, yeah, we're gonna do this, that, and the third to her. Mind you, my mom is right there. So what's it called? They were like, basically they were like, yeah, we're gonna drag her, we're gonna beat her up, F her, flip her, and I'm like, ooh, the tea is getting hot. But what's it called? I didn't know that my mom could understand it, right? So as they're saying it, they're like, okay, so we need like premium angles. Like, if we're on the floor, you need to get on the floor and go like this, and I'm telling them, I'm glazing them, bro. I'm like, yeah, I got you. Like, whatever happens, I'm gonna be there, this, that, and the third. As long as you guys don't drag me in it, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna even be there early. Don't even play, I'm gonna be there before the fight starts. I was talking about, oh, I have popsicles. Everybody pick a flavor. I'm gonna bring it, girl. Oh my gosh, I'm just cooked, slow and cooked. And so basically I was done talking, like, on the call. My mom was like, who are they? And I was like, oh, just my friends, you know, whatever, something slight. And then she kept on asking questions. I was like, girl, did you hear some? So she was like, what type of friends? Like, what are their names, you know? And so since she didn't know those friends, I had to say friends that, like, she already knew of and friends that she, like, low-key respected, right? So I said their names, and she was like, oh, that didn't sound like their voices. And I was like, yeah, they're just a little sick, like, you know, like, life happens. And then she was like, oh, what were you guys planning on doing? Like, why was she willing? Like, why was she screaming, right? And I was like, oh, she was just screaming at her little sister. Like, I'm just lying to her face, right? And she's like, so, like, what are you guys gonna do? And I was like, mommy, and then we're just gonna study, like, next we're gonna study. I think it was like a Thursday. I was like, next Thursday, yeah, I'm gonna go to their house and study. And she was like, okay, with the good luck, inshallah, with my dual, girl, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. So anyways, boom, you know, like the day it finally comes, low key all week I was like, oh, let me like text the girl, but when I went to go text her, she blocks me. So I was like, okay, like whatever, like if you want to get dragged, bro, let it get dragged. I knew there was something off about you. I just knew it. JK, I actually didn't know, like she was actually really nice, but whatever. Anyways, the next day it comes, and then I'm taking like my bike out of like the backyard, and I'm like, okay, bye mommy, like I'm gonna go now. And she's like, why do you have a Kroger bag? Mind you, the Kroger bag, it's full of like the popsicles that I promised I would bring. I had to make it back home in a time crunch, right? basically as I'm going out, I realized that my bike didn't, like the tire, it was low-key popped, and I knew that was gonna happen, but I just didn't know like it was gonna be today, you know. So I had to leave it at home, and then I decided I would just take my little sister's scooter. It was like kind of short, but it wasn't that bad. Like it wasn't that bad. So basically I'm taking it, right? I'm zooming off. I finally make it to like their neighborhood, and they're like, oh my gosh, like are you ready to film? Da, da, da. What took you so long? I thought you said you were gonna be early. Girl, I literally had some difficulties, okay? The scooter, it was like to my hip or something. Like it was kind of short, so as I was scooting, I was like low-key hunchbacked, right? But I needed to get there on time, and I knew my language just, it wouldn't do the trick. So boom, you know, I get there, whatever, and then they're like, oh, okay, can you start by filming? And as I'm filming, right, I low-key kind of just sense something, and I'm like, huh, this is really strange. Like, this is so weird. Like, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. But, you know, a fight is a fight. I want to see first-class seats, bro. I'm like, this. I'm like, baby, this is not Lamba. This is, like, real life, like, hub, bro. A hub. So, boom. What's it called? They're starting, right? And then in a little slight little voice I hear with the hub, I'm like, what type of boy? I didn't say that, and I'm the only person in this group that can have player. So who was that, right? I'm scared out of my mind. I remember as I was like pushing like the scooter to go to their place, bro, I kept on looking back to make sure that my mom wasn't behind me, or anybody I knew wasn't behind me, because I was up to bunning no good. Guys, I'm literally squinting, okay? Like, I'm literally downplaying how bad I was looking. I kept on going up and down with my glasses. I was like, am I tweaking? Like, am I cool, right? But I just concluded that I just heard it because I was paranoid the whole entire time going there, right? And then, what's it called? Me ewi good, bro. Me ewi good. Me ewi do esmano ala haidara. Me ewi kitty lady. Oh, it was only litter on the ground. Last time I checked cigarette butts while I had it, like, overly cooked, right? So I'm like, oh, it was all in my head, right? My friends were talking about, why are your hands shaky? Take a video, we're about to start, right? And then we hear it again, but this time I hear no. I'm like, what type of footage, bro? Boom, I'm looking around, I'm looking at trees, bro. I'm looking at like the shrubs on the ground. I'm thinking like, bro, like it's from Allah. Like, is bro, he's sending his yumba down. Like, baby, I'm cooked. Hende is my last thing I'm on this earth. Like, I'm cooked. Anyways, as I'm like squinting over to look again, my friends are like, what was that? What was the noise? What was that sound? Da, da, da. Baby, I already know it's my mom. I'm just trying to locate where she is at this point, right? She's talking about haba, heb o camera, what less, what cell phone or less, what cell phone less, Johnny Aran Yehen, I can't get there. I'm literally hearing her voice, but I can't see her, right? So I'm looking around. I'm like, what type of boy? Where is she at? I look at the tree like one more time. I like assumed it was a branch, so I kept on looking. Girl, smack dab in the middle was a blue and pink melfit. I know I'm overly cooked. She saw me with my buddy. I got, bro, I'm cooked. So boom, I do what I do best. I run. What's it called? Their like apartment complex, it looks identical to each other, right? All the girls start running. I drop the phone, I start running. So the girl, she low-key had to go back and get her phone. I'm talking about, bro, I knew exactly where their crib was because I was there like a trillion times. So boom, I start running. She had like a flight of stairs. And as I look back, because low-key, even though I was running, I was looking out for the rest of the girls, right? I see one of the girls, she's taking like a shorter passageway, I don't know, but as I start running like up the stairs, I see my mom just walking towards us. Like, she's just chill, she's walking, but she has a pep in her step, right? So I'm pushing the girls upstairs. I'm asking her, I'm screaming, I'm like, is it gonna take faster if we take the elevator or like the stairs? She's like, go up the stairs and turn left. So that's exactly what I do. I think I went up like a flight, like 3 flights of stairs or something, and then instead of turning left, because I really didn't know my left and my rights, I only learned my left and my rights when I had this like on my finger. That's how like I learned. I was like, oh, this is my left because it looks a little weird, and then my right, it looks regular, right? Long story, I can't even talk about it right now. Basically, yeah, boom. I was like, yeah, I turned like right instead of left or something like that. And then what's it called? I had to like relocate myself back again. I'm like, choo, 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 choo. All the apartments look like each other, okay? I can only see the one girl that we were supposed to fight. I can only see her. And boom, she opens her door, she closes it. I'm like, please let me in, please, please, please. She's like, no, you guys want to fight me, you guys want to jump me, like F you, da da da. I'm like, no girl, I was just gonna film it, but if it got too far, like I was gonna mediate, you know, like I was gonna pull you back. And she was like, stop lying to me. I know how you or you're literally lying, da, da, da. And I'm like, no, I'm not lying, please let me in. As I look to my right, bro, I don't know where she spawned from. My mom is right there. She's like, no, I got join. I'm like, mommy, no, please. I'm just praying. I'm praying, bro. I pray, oh, feet, I come do you, bro. I'm praying she leaves that for her home. I'm praying, bro. So boom, she's like, I got Johnny, right? I'm like, mommy, yeah, for like this wasn't me. I go to me no huli, me and the I mean, under their yum bedara. She's like, "Wupo ko fenta ko and andi their yum bede bundies. They're your besties, like basically, right?" Basically, I'm like the girl that we like were supposed to jump. I wasn't gonna jump her, you know, like I don't have it in me, but I low-key was gonna film her, right? She would not open the door. She was talking about go to your own house. I hope your mom beats you up. Da, da, da. She's talking a lot of nasty things. I'm crying. I'm like, please, please let me in. I'm gonna share my popsicles with you. Da, da, da. I'm gonna do everything. She's like, I don't want your crusty popsicles. You're musty as flip. I don't want your stuff. So boom, I'm crying outside of the apartment, right? Like she's dragging me down. I'm crying. I'm like, cause I'm really sad. Like I'm like, what type of like I'm so depressed. You don't understand. So she's like, Nungo scooter and don't ride it. And since she was walking so fast because she was so mad, bro, I started scooting behind her, and she dragged me out of the scooter, and she's like, Atu guy me nangaru. And she like as she was holding the scooter, I was like walking right next to her, so she's walking like this, and the scooter is like right here, and I'm like right here, and the scooter it keeps like hitting my ankle, like girl. So I keep on lipping. I'm like and she's like, so I saw what he doom say arsi gales and honey bama hande de my mind hande my mind. And I'm like, no, please, mommy, like these people, I was just possessed by Satan. Like this is not me. This is not me. I'm miskin, bro. This is not me. So boom, basically after that we barely make it home, but she was walking me like a dog, woof, like bruh, I probably had to call her for a good 45 minutes, bro. Like I'm not gonna even lie, it was not that far. 45 is crazy. Maybe like I don't know, like 15, I don't know. But basically, I was so depressed, and it's like, I couldn't even believe she caught me, right? So, as when we went home, she was like, I sick me under Haidara, I sick me called Kangad, right? All my siblings are literally sitting at the couch, so they're like, Noodle, what happened? Well, like, to this day, I couldn't fold. I couldn't tell them what happened, because, basically, I remember she was like, Fahabama Erta, so Arti Maheb Koboni Darra, and when Arti Mahebi Koboni, like, she stood on her word, whatever. But yeah, I just like safe to say, I didn't know she could speak English. She was talking about me neni everything and hali me neni do and kaga dero come to we come my gang or depo we ay mama army film mama but and then I was like, mommy, no, like that was a skit. That was just like that was AI, mommy. I would never do that. Like I would never do that. And she was like, Noodle, what fenta ko I want to sub the and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm cut like my parents literally hate me. Oh my goodness. And then basically at the end, she was like, at the cell phone ma, at the computer ma. I had like a Chromebook. I used to play Roblox on that. It was like school issue, but I never did like my schoolwork, right? So I used to be playing Roblox. I used to be watching videos, Netflix, Disney Plus, all of that, right? So basically she's like, at the fifth, Jordan, they got a book ma, obviously you need it. And then they switched my phone to like an Obama phone, and I never never saw my phone again. This was like a little after that one story I was talking about, like how they gave me an Obama phone because I listened to Murder on My Mind. It was literally like a few months after that, bro. A few events after that, I genuinely never saw my phone again for like a good 2 years, bro. Yeah, like in conclusion, safe to say I didn't know my mom could speak English. Like my entire life I would literally translate for her. Whatever she needed, I would be there. I'd be like, oh, she said this, that, and the third. We would be at parent teacher conferences, meetings, bro, and they used to be like, yeah, so your daughter doesn't listen, she never stays in her seat, she talks a lot, and she'd be like, and I used to be like, oh, basically, mommy, they're just glazing me, and she used to take it. So I don't know, like overnight if she learned, or like she was listening so much that she learned, da, da, da. But you know, I just never gave her any hope. I never even gave her any like space to hell or whatever. Whenever we were at like a store, I would be like, oh, do you know where like the green beans are, or something like that, you know? Like I used to always speak for her, so I never knew she knew English. I never knew.